And now, Elliot Maras, broadcasting live from AAPEX.
Hello and welcome to Professional Tool and Equipment News live broadcast from the floor of AAPEX 2012 in the PTEN Tool and Equipment Lounge, booth 1061. I'm Elliot Maras, the editor of PTEN, the Independent Tool Authority.
Hi, I'm Sarah Shellstrom. I'm the publisher of VehicleServicePros.com, the official website of Professional Tool and Equipment News, Professional Distributor, and Fleet Maintenance magazines. Our broadcast today is sponsored by LaunchTech, the global supplier of automotive tools and shop equipment, and by Mayhew, the oldest U.S. manufacturer of punches and chisels in the market today. So Elliot, I spent my time this morning a little bit walking around with Wrench and Roger, and we stopped by a few booths. We checked out some things from Shark Industries, Aircat. We also stopped by Coast and Streamlight today. And so you can look for that footage a little bit later to be posted to our website as well. How did you spend your morning?
Well, I attended some very well-attended seminars this morning, Sarah. It was standing room only, and the two seminars I attended, the first one was on telematics, what that means to this industry. There's been a lot of talk about telematics at this show. Last year we had Shop of Tomorrow. This year we actually had a telematics award presented, and this seminar this morning was very eye-opening. Telematics are going to have a tremendous impact on this industry. They are both a challenge and an opportunity for the aftermarket. The other seminar I attended that was also standing room only was on stop and start technology. There is no question that this is a tremendous opportunity for the aftermarket, but the people out in the shops, they have to get up to speed. They have to get to these seminars. They have to talk to their suppliers and educate themselves, because this industry is just changing so fast, it's very hard to keep up with it.
Great. So who do you have lined up to talk to first this morning?
The first speaker is Aaron Lowe, the Vice President of Government Affairs for the Automotive Aftermarket Industry Association. Aaron, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Well, in the opening session that we did of this live streaming broadcast, we talked briefly about something called the Right to Repair Law, which is something on a lot of people's minds, and that's what I want to talk to you today.
Yep.
What kind of work have you been doing with respect to the Right to Repair Law?
Well, we've been working very hard in the state of Massachusetts to get Right to Repair passed, and I'm proud to say on August 7th, the bill was signed by the governor of Massachusetts, and it's now law in the state. And we think what came out of Massachusetts is going to have major national implications, and AIA is working to make it a national bill or a national agreement in the near future.
Can you just briefly explain what the Right to Repair Law means?
Sure. Initially, beginning in next week, all information and tools that the car companies make available to their new car dealers are going to have to be made available to independent repair shops and car owners at a reasonable price. Then, beginning in model year 2018, all information will have to be provided to the aftermarket and tools through a cloud. So all the software and tools that people now get through hardware will now be available through a generic PC from a cloud on a subscription basis from the manufacturer. And it'll have to interface to the vehicle through a generic interface meeting either the J2534 or the ISO 22900 standard. So it's going to change the way that information and tools are provided and software are provided to the independent aftermarket. It's going to mean that an independent shop that gets a car in that they don't see very often can subscribe to a website, pull down all the software they need to repair that car for a day, a month, or a year, and then when they're done with it, they can turn it, it goes back to the manufacturer, but they can get all the proprietary, most updated software right then and there when they have that car in the shop. So it's going to be a really big tool for the independent aftermarket.
Okay. Now, Massachusetts, Aaron, was the first state to pass a law, but I understand there is also a ballot initiative about this in the state of Massachusetts. So tell us, what is the difference between the ballot initiative and the existing law?
Well, the best thing is that, what happened was we had a ballot initiative that was put into place. We had signatures for it, and we were hoping that we would not need the ballot signature, that a bill would pass. But unfortunately, the car companies did not come to an agreement with us to the very end of July. And by Massachusetts law, we had to turn the signatures in by the beginning of July. So the ballot question by law has to still appear in the ballot, and it's question 1. And on Tuesday, the Massachusetts voters will have to vote on that. And based on what we're hearing from the state, we think it may pass, actually, because motorists, funny how consumers are extremely supportive of having choice in getting their car repaired. They like the fact that they can go wherever they want to their independent shop, their mechanic, and get the service, the price, and the convenience. So we think it'll pass, and then what will happen is we're hopeful that we can then amend that ballot measure so that it will meet what the agreement was.
Okay, and just to be clear, the ballot measure is a little bit more restrictive on the industry, so that's why there's some concern about that.
Right. The main differences are, first of all, it would require the new cloud technology to take place in model year 2015, where the bill only requires it in 2018, model year 2018. The other difference is the ballot measure covers every vehicle out there, whether it's a truck or a motorcycle. The bill itself only requires cars under 10,000 pounds to be covered by the bill. And the third difference is under the bill, you have a choice of using J2534 or ISO standard, the ISO standard. In the ballot measure, it's only J2534, and I know some manufacturers would like to have the flexibility. So we're hopeful. We think the bill is a really great bill. We think it's very workable. We're proud, though, that motorists support right to repair and that they're really supportive of the ballot measure. So it's a win-win for our industry.
Okay. And tell me, what other states are considering similar laws right now?
Well, there's been several states over the past several years that have considered right to repair, but we're thinking that, well, New Jersey, Connecticut had bills, Oregon had a bill, there was a bill in New York State, there was one in Oklahoma. We're hopeful that the bill that is passed in Massachusetts will become a model that will have a national agreement in place for right to repair, so that we won't have to go state by state. But if the manufacturers don't agree to a national agreement, then we're prepared to go whatever we have to do to get this bill nationally out there.
Okay. Well, Aaron, I think we're kind of coming to the end of our allotted time, and there's certainly a lot more to talk about with this issue, and it's important that the membership of the AAIA understand this is something that their association has made a priority, right? It's
been a priority for multiple years. We've been at it for 10 years. The bill passing in Massachusetts was a huge win for our industry, and it was really due to the strong efforts by the industry in the state of Massachusetts that made it happen. A great coalition there of independent repair shops, distributors, really worked their tails off to get this bill done, and we couldn't be prouder of the effort.
Okay, well, Aaron, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to switch gears here a little bit. Our next interviewee is David Cash, who is the product manager of Mounts Incorporated. The company provides torque tool solutions and metric fasteners to the professional service and repair markets. David, welcome.
Welcome, thanks.
Okay. Well, I understand that your company has developed a new scale system of torque wrenches.
That's correct. The main goal for this particular product was to try to answer the question, how can we make fastening easier for the professional mechanic? So we've developed a true dual scale torque wrench that allows you to be able to set in foot-pounds and also in Newton meters, but both scales are independent of each other. So typically when you look at a body scale tool that has stamps on it, it'll be foot-pounds on one side, Newton meters on the other. The issue with that is trying to set the tool accurately in the other scale that's not the primary scale. Typically a Newton meter is going to be a fractional type number. You might have to do some math to get that correct. But with our tool, we've got it also calibrated in both foot-pounds and Newton meters. So we have our black side is our foot-pounds, red side is our Newton meters. If we want to go ahead and set this particular tool to 75 foot-pounds, you bring the major scale up to 70, turn to black until you get to 5 on the bottom. Same thing for the Newton meter side. You bring your major indicator up to your, say you want 85 Newton meters, bring it up to 80 here, turn the red scale down here to 5. So we've got a patent pending process on the gear package that allows these to be both independent. So there's 2 different scales, but only one wrench.
Okay. Now, why is proper torque important to automotive repair shops?
Well, torque is critical. I mean, you could have a 3-cent fastener fail and it could be catastrophic if that's not tightened correctly. So you have a product that's tightened too much, you can yield the bolt and have failure that way. If it's too loose, obviously it could vibrate loose and then you have failure that way as well.
Okay. Now, is it necessary to have a tester in an automotive repair shop to verify the torque setting?
You don't necessarily need that. It's good to have your tools calibrated on a periodic basis, either maybe every 6 months or maybe every 1 year, depending on how often they're used.
And how do you do that?
You can send them into different calibration facilities across the country. You can also send them to the manufacturer. Typically has calibration that they offer. We do that as well. We have 2 calibration labs, one in San Jose, California, and another one in Foley, Alabama, to handle the country as we go forward.
Okay. And does your company have anything else that's showing today?
Not at this particular show.
Okay.
Mounts, as a company, has been in business since 1965, but we handle just torque products only. And it's mostly been industrial manufacturing, from aerospace to medical, packaging, all sorts of torque-related applications, from very low inch ounce to hundreds of thousands of foot-pounds of torque.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. All right. Well, David, I think that's about as informative as we can be in this.
Well, we actually are going to present this wrench to Wrenching Roger.
Oh, okay.
So we'll be giving that to him.
Oh, that's
to let him
great.
play with. So there's your tool. It does come with 2 certificates of calibration, one for your foot-pound side and the other for Newton meters. So.
Thank you so much. It's going to save me a lot of time going to Google and have to convert Newton meters to foot-pounds.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Okay. David, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, now we are going to go to a commercial.
Whether racing, riding, or repairing, your job or your passion, going fast or getting things done, at the track or in the shop, one thing is for sure. When you need to be your best, Mac Tools have an impact. Own your own Mac Tools franchise and be your own boss. Let Mac Tools put you in the driver's seat today. After all, working for the boss isn't so bad. That is, if you're the boss. Call 877-MAC-TOOLS.
Well, now it's time to switch to Wrenching Roger.
Hi, I'm Wrenching Roger. I'm at the MitchellOne booth, and I'm talking with Dan Williams about their product.
Hi, Wrenching Roger. How are you?
I'm good. It's good being Wrenching Roger.
Great.
All right. So let's get started. Now, communication seems to be a big theme for MitchellOne. Tell me about what you're doing to help communicate better with customers.
Sure can. You know, the opportunity to build relationships with customers doesn't only happen right when the customer's actually in the shop. As a matter of fact, with our social CRM product, there's an opportunity for shop owners to be able to start touching the customer even before they walk into the shop. We can do that by offering what's called targeted promotions, as well as things such as professional service reminders. Above all is our social CRM support agents. They're trained to be able to help the shop owners be able to manage the content that is online in all the different media type of platforms. It basically helps to improve the search engine visibility of their shop and also their online reputation as well. Now that's just beforehand. Now when the customer's actually at the shop, then service managers can use and tap into our repair product. We call it Pro Demand, as well as our award-winning management system. Service managers can look at automotive related information as well as history of that automobile. And what that does is it provides that shop to be able to have a high level of customer interaction, driving customer satisfaction as well. And then finally, after the customer picks up the car and leaves the shop, we're not done with them. Back to our social CRM solution, what we're going to do is send out a thank you email. And in that thank you email, there's an opportunity to be able to invite them for a schedule of a new service in the future. but also, just as importantly, as we tap into that media, social media, we're going to give them an opportunity to post a review. And so what we found is that customers, verified customers who have actually been to the shop and had a good experience, they typically score higher than just anonymous third-party providers of information.
So, and all this is online, not through snail mail.
It's all online. When we talk about communication, it's basically looking at emails, real-time emails, as well as real-time text messaging as well.
Hi, I'm Rich and Roger. I'm at the MitchellOne booth, and I'm speaking with Ben Johnson. How are we doing today?
Nice to see you, Roger.
Yes. So, let's talk about MitchellOne's featured product, SureTrack. What is it, and how does it benefit technicians?
Well, great question. SureTrack is our newest thing. So Mitchell, for years, has been known as the provider of OE information to help the aftermarket service tech, right? So you have a problem with your car, Mitchell's where you go to get the repair information, the diagnostics information, you look up your parts and labor, anything you need to know about the OE way of fixing the car. SureTrack takes it a whole nother direction, because while that's all very important, technicians also value experience. And so we know that we've had a lot of cars in the bay, had a similar problem. We got a Tahoe with a problem, we've seen it before. We don't go look at the repair information again, we go look to see if the same problem we fixed the first time is the same problem with this car. SureTrack captures all that information nationwide. So it's a way of bringing industry experience into the aftermarket bay.
So if I'm a shop and I have a Tahoe that has a P0455, that's a large evap leak, and let's say a lot of vent solenoids go bad, the person with SureTrack could post that, and other people in the country could see how many vent solenoids went bad?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we're just actually launching the thing today. We've already got over 6 million tips in SureTrack for technicians to look at. So I can do exactly as you're saying, identify the vehicle, punch in the trouble code, and it'll tell me not only, it'll tell me the parts that frequently tend to fail, it'll tell me the mileages that the parts tend to fail at. So there might be 2 or 3 things that could cause a symptom, but if one thing tends to fail at 75,000 miles, another thing might tend to fail at 125,000 miles, I just reference my odometer and start looking where I want to look. Once I've identified that, then I say, well, let me think, it might be the mass airflow sensor is one of the components. Then I can look up another tab in the product that says component test, and it'll actually help me validate that that in fact is the problem on my car before I go replacing it unnecessarily. And then if it's a part or component that generates a waveform or that I can test, I have a library of known good waveforms that I can compare against. So I can very quickly identify what's possibly wrong, what's probably wrong, and then validate that that's the problem. If I've hit the wall, if those things aren't in the database, they haven't been reported before, I can actually go into a community section on the site and ask a question and just say, here's my Tahoe, here's what's happening, and now, over 150,000 technicians have access and the ability to answer that question, and we can actually have a dialogue. It's just like a virtual version of calling your buddy down the road and asking them if they've seen that before.
Well, another report from Rich and Roger from the show floor. Well, now we're speaking with Sarah Bruno, a partner with Arent Fox, a Washington, D.C. law firm. We're here today to talk about something that many of our attendees don't necessarily think a lot about, and that's intellectual property issues. Earlier in the program, Sarah participated in a seminar on what auto repair shops must know about intellectual property issues. Sarah, can you give us a brief overview of this seminar?
Sure. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I've been working on the show floor for about 6 or 7 years now, and essentially I offer assistance to parties that have issues with counterfeit goods, as well as intellectual property issues such as trademark, patent infringement, and also copyright infringement. So part of the seminar was just educating the attendees of the audience on what we're looking for on the show floor as far as counterfeiting goes, infringement goes. And then I also provided an explanation to the attendees on how they can be aware of situations where they may not be realizing that they're actually distributing counterfeit goods or goods that have intellectual property issues such as patent infringement or trademark infringement.
Okay. And I understand you've been retained by the Motor Equipment Manufacturers Association?
Yes, that's right. MEMA, which is the co-owner of the show, the other council that owns it is AAIA. MEMA and AAIA each have retained an attorney to be at the show floor, and we're basically here the whole week, and we're very busy dealing with all the intellectual property issues on the show floor.
Sarah, are you aware of an automotive repair shop ever getting sued over intellectual property?
Not at this point, but one of the actual, and it's interesting you asked this because one of the focus points of my discussion at the seminar was about the fact that distributors of auto parts can be liable for distributing counterfeit goods, even if they're not aware of it. Well, if they're, and I guess I should say, if they're not aware of it in that they're not the manufacturer of the product, but they're aware of it in that they keep getting product that appears to be of low quality, but it's a cheaper price. It's coming from a country that may have issues with counterfeiting. The courts consider these as red flags for counterfeiting, and if you are knowingly ignoring these red flags, the courts suddenly say, even though you say you weren't aware of it, you are acting willfully blind, which means you're sticking your head in the sand and you're ignoring it, and then you can be liable. And in this industry, we haven't seen a case like that yet, but we have seen it in cases with Microsoft, with all of the software that you see pirated on the web. Microsoft has had success with pirated software, which is essentially counterfeit software, by establishing that the people that are distributing the software on these websites are ignoring the red flags, which means they're ignoring the signs of counterfeit goods.
Okay. Sarah, is there anything you would suggest an independent repair shop do in order to prevent themselves from getting in any hot water with intellectual property?
Yes. And this was, again, part of my seminar, which I always recommend to repair shop owners because it's a tough market, it's a tough business. And I think at this point, you know, if you can pay attention to the packaging of the products that you're receiving, and the minute you get a red flag, and again, the red flag would be the product suddenly starts coming from a country that you weren't expecting it to come from. The product has a billing slip that's different from the months previously. The product doesn't come with a brochure or the authenticating documentation that it typically comes with. If the box looks different, poor quality, logos look different, trademarks look different, and then of course if the quality of the product when they start to deal with it seems to be poor. All of these are considered red flags. The minute you see one of these red flags, pick up the phone and call the party that's supposed to be sending the package to you, and let them know, I have a problem with this, something is weird, and put them on notice. And then at that point, try to follow up and continue to be aware of this issue, because if you ignore it and just keep putting them in cars, you could be liable.
Okay, do you think this will become a greater liability in the future?
I think it could, yeah.
And why?
Because I think much like Microsoft and in the other industries started on this probably about 8 years ago, and now they're at the point where they're going after all downstream distribution of the software and the pirated goods. Same thing with the music industry and the recording industry. It's only a matter of time before the automotive industry catches up and recognizes that they can start to go downstream and possibly challenge the distributors who, frankly, are just doing their jobs and getting these products and putting them in the car. But it's something that's been out there and that's being passed around as a potential threat.
Okay, and if any of the shop owners are concerned about this, is there somebody they should contact at any of the associations?
Oh, yes, they could contact, I would say contact anyone at MEMA with any questions. And I don't know if you have, I can give some names, but I don't know.
No, I think most of our readers are familiar with the Motor Equipment Association.
Anyone there, and I work with them almost weekly on these issues, so anyone there, and if they have any questions, they can of course contact me. I'm happy just to talk about the issue. It's something I talk about all the time.
Okay, well Sarah, thank you for being with us.
Okay, thanks. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Now we're going to switch to a commercial.
Join the Airvolution. Guardair is a world-class manufacturer of pneumatic-powered tools used for industrial cleaning and maintenance, including safety air guns, siphon guns, gun vacs, and pneumatic accessories. All products are designed with an overriding emphasis on operator comfort, protection, safety, and to meet OSHA standards. Guardair products are designed, manufactured, assembled, tested, packaged, and shipped from our state-of-the-art facility in Chicopee, Massachusetts. We invite you to explore our website at GuardairCorp.com to learn how Guardair tools can meet your industrial cleaning needs, and you will feel the difference.
So do we want to talk about how much time we got? Seconds?
Well, we're sitting with Richard Menig, who is the president of the Automotive Training Institute, which is an educational organization based in Maryland. Richard, tell us exactly what the Automotive Training Institute does.
ATI, we're a coaching and training company to the aftermarket. We teach independent shop owners how to run a better business, how to increase profits, how to deliver exceptional customer service. So we work with the front end of the business, the front counter of the business, as opposed to the technical side of the business.
Okay. And what kind of qualifications do the people in your organization bring to the table?
We have a staff of 20 coaches. They're all industry experts. They've all grown up in the business. They have a minimum of 20 years, either working on the independent side for car dealers or for franchises.
Okay. And you focus mainly on the business management aspect of running an automotive repair shop?
We're like an MBA program for an independent shop owner. So if you joined our program, we have about 200 to 300 hours worth of classroom training, and that is coupled with weekly business key performance indicator coaching by one of our coaches.
Okay. What would you say are some of the main business management challenges that independent shops typically have to deal with?
Well, one of the biggest is knowing their numbers. Many, not all, but many shop owners grew up turning wrenches, and they all of a sudden owned a business, and there wasn't any way to really understand how to profitably run their business. And that's where we come in. So most, as an example, we look at thousands of independent shop owners' P&Ls a year. And we find that most shop owners, they're sort of married to the business, they work really long hours, and it's really hard to make a profit. And we teach them how to do that. So if you talk to any shop owner USA, they'd probably tell you what do they need. They need cars. And in many cases, cars is not what they need. They need a better average repair order, or they need a better staffing model, or they need better compensation plans. So everything really has to work in concert with each other so that they can actually make money at it, as opposed to just have a job.
And your organization provides them with things like key performance indicators?
That's correct. Yeah, we have a data portal where our clients, we have about 1,100 clients, and all over the US and Canada, and they enter weekly KPI data into this data portal, and then the coach coaches to those key performance indicators, and we hold them accountable for their numbers on a weekly basis. And I think that's really a key, because lots of business owners, not just shop owners, but lots of business owners look at their numbers on a monthly basis. They'll get a P&L, they'll look at it, they'll go straight to the bottom. Did I make money? Did I not make money? And sort of turn the rest of the stuff over. And we teach them to be accountable and look at their numbers on a weekly basis, because on a monthly basis, it's really over. They really can't do anything about it then.
Okay. And there is a classroom component to your program too, correct?
Mm-hmm. We teach not only the financial side, but we teach marketing, we teach leadership, we teach the financial side, and all the business sales and all the business aspects of running a successful business. And then we have another component for the service writers to teach them how to sell at the counter, and how to sell maintenance, and how to bring more business on, get that ARO up, bring more business through the shop.
Okay, and can you give us an example of how a particular shop owner benefited from this? Just give us some specific idea of what actually he or she might have experienced as a result of this kind of program.
Well, there's two distinct pieces to the ATI experience. One is what we deliver through our coaching and our training, and the other is what our clients get from each other. Because we have 20 groups, they come to classrooms, they hang out with us, they come to our facility. We believe very strongly in stand-up training, because it brings them all together. And they get to talk to each other, they get to talk about their own belief systems and how to, in many cases, give those misguided belief systems up in favor of doing it differently.
Okay. Well, I don't think anybody would dispute the fact that industry-specific business education is more important today than ever. So it's great that we have companies such as yours out there looking to help people with their issues. Is there anything, we're kind of coming to the end of our allotted time, is there anything else you'd like to mention, Richard?
We believe so very strongly in this industry, and we help literally thousands of shop owners sort of realize their dreams and take their business to heights that they want to, and we just, we're there for them, and therefore they're there for us.
Okay, and if people want to get in touch with you, how do they find you?
They can go to our website, autotraining.net, www.autotraining.net.
Okay, Richard, thank you for being with us.
Okay, thanks very much.
Okay, well, now we're at the end of the first half of our program this morning, and I'm sitting again with Sarah Shellstrom, and
that is quite the tongue twister. Saw the same thing at my wedding. It was pretty funny. But what a show this has been. Man, Vehicle Service Pros, we're broadcasting live from AAPEX 2012, seeing lots of new tools and shop equipment coming through. You guys should be getting excited. We'll make sure that all those new products get posted to our online product guide, so be checking back daily for those. We're going to be posting regularly to the VehicleServicePros.com Facebook, and we're also tweeting. We're hashtag Vehicle Service Pros, and we've also got the hashtag AAPEX 2012. So if you're not getting it here, you can get it on all of our social media, and certainly check back to the website. Had a great show, didn't you, Elliot?
Absolutely. I think everybody learned a lot, and we look forward to returning in the afternoon and finishing up our live streaming video educational program.
That's our time, and thank you for yours.